The eviction of several ag associations from Real is raising concerns about Agribition. Why some radar cameras will be temporarily out of service. And the province is offering 10 lease-to-own public housing units.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. It's becoming a real issue for the agriculture industry. Concerns over the future of Canadian Western Agribition. Some of the buildings key to the annual livestock show are a part of the organization's sale to Brant, potentially impacting the event's footprint. Donovan Mace has the latest.
More than 2 decades worth of supplies at the Canadian Bison Association office is being loaded into boxes after having their lease terminated ahead of Real's sale to Brant.
Getting evicted wasn't anywhere in my I didn't imagine that for any reason at all.
The Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association is also among those having to leave the site where they've resided for 45 years.
Bigger picture though, this is a challenge for agriculture in Regina.
According to eviction letters from Regina Exhibition Association Limited, the two organizations are having their leases terminated for required other uses and construction activities. Some of the buildings involved are critical pieces to Canadian Western Agribition.
There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of work and there's a lot of effort that's been put into having this premier showcase in Western Canada.
We're not interested in scaling back.
The annual livestock show brings in thousands from around the world, yet how the CWA looks moving forward is as uncertain as ever.
For 55 years, we've had the momentum continue to grow, and the building has continued to evolve and Agribition has continued to evolve. And again, pending our risk being mitigated, Regina's home.
We're going to try and bring a stampede to Regina and help Agribition do that.
For the second time this week, Brant declining an interview request from CTV News regarding possible changes at the site and their impacts to Agribition. In a statement, the company did say future plans will be coordinated thoughtfully to minimize disruption and support Agribition moving forward. And while the city continues to work through final negotiations with Brant, ensuring the sustainability of the large economic driver remains paramount.
We don't want to lose Agribition. That's why it was a very, very clear point and clear term made in the initial non-binding term sheet. So incredibly important to the city, important to the province.
Despite any uncertainty, CWA remains committed to delivering another record-breaking show this November, just as it did in 2025, with KINDOP hoping for more concrete assurances for Agribition's footprint for years to come. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Well, thousands of drivers have been caught on camera speeding at various locations across Saskatchewan, but now a switch in vendors will make some speed cameras temporarily inactive. Stacey Hine has more on what this means for Saskatchewan drivers.
These boxes are meant to house photo enforcement cameras, but after SGI's contractor ended its agreement early and removed its equipment, some of them may now be empty. SGI says equipment will be temporarily out of service at some points as it switches vendors for its photo speed enforcement program. The previous vendor, Vieira Mobility Systems, had provided, installed, and maintained the cameras and processed photo enforcement tickets since 2020. SGI says at the end of May, the vendor made a business decision to end its agreement early. CTV News has reached out to Vieira Mobility Systems for comment, but did not hear back by broadcast. For some drivers, having cameras offline is a bit of a relief.
I live right by here, so I drive this way, and knowing that they're inactive is like, oh, thank God.
One driver says the fines are costly.
Anytime I get one of those tickets, I'm just thinking, like, how does a family that earns like even a little bit less, like, how are they making this work when they get one of these tickets?
Some drivers say the cameras can help keep the roads safe.
The cameras are very beneficial. I don't think that it's a cash grab. It's for safety reasons.
I do agree with them in school zones. The highways, maybe not as much. I mean, you're doing a little bit over and you're paying how much?
Until the cameras are back online, the Saskatoon Police Service says members of the traffic unit will be adding these areas to their enforcement rotation as time permits. But it notes, due to the high volume of priority areas that require enforcement, there will not necessarily be an increased focus on areas previously covered by a speed enforcement camera. The Regina Police Service told CTV News its work will continue as usual. When the program is fully operational, SGI says it issues an average of $1.3 million in speeding fines each month. But with some cameras out of service, it's unclear how enforcement has been affected. Stacey Hunt, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The provincial government is offering an easier route to home ownership for some Regina families. 10 public housing units will be offered for sale on a lease-to-own basis. As Wayne Mantica tells us, those who keep up their payments for 15 years will assume ownership at no additional cost.
The provincial government has several public housing units in Regina's north central neighborhood that are difficult to rent. The houses are being offered for purchase by families on a lease-to-own basis.
They were underutilized, they were in disrepair, and so there was a need that either Sask Housing was going to repair them or put them back on the market, which would have taken some time.
Title to 10 properties has been transferred to Regina's Silver Sage Housing, which will administer the program. All the houses will be brought up to standard before occupancy. Tenants who lease for 15 years will then become the owners at no additional cost.
Home ownership is empowerment, owning your own asset and putting your money towards your future rather than your rent payments. It's life-changing.
Last year, the government demolished several of its housing units in North Central, which had become run down, leaving empty lots behind. The mayor welcomes the new initiative to promote home ownership in the neighborhood.
So overall, as a city, our objective is to ensure that we have, vibrant neighborhoods for all residents, that we have, accessible amenities for all residents, and create the conditions for that to happen.
The provincial government has hundreds of vacant or difficult-to-rent properties across the province. If this initial lease-to-own program proves successful, more homes could be added in the future. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Dozens of healthcare workers held a rally outside Saskatchewan Party headquarters in Regina. The workers wanted a meeting with Premier Scott Moe and Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell. The members of QP Local 5430 have been without a contract since March of 2023. The workers hope the Premier and Health Minister can influence management to work towards a settlement. Now, they say the Premier declined their invitation to meet, but the Health Minister did agree to a meeting in July or August.
We really wanted to send a message to them that we're ready for a raise. It has been too long, so if we have to come to their doorstep to get this government to listen, we will.
Our long-term care residents, our communities, and our families are important to us, and the Sask Party has forgotten about us.
QP says it may conduct a strike vote as early as this summer. The man accused of firing a shotgun at 2 RCMP officers in Melville appeared at court today. Marcus Dodge got into a fight with his neighbor on Sunday evening, which led to RCMP being called to the scene. Dodge then allegedly fired a shotgun at the Mounties, seriously injured 2 officers. He was taken into custody early Monday morning and is accused of attempted murder and aggravated assault, among other charges. He appeared in court in Yorkton this morning by video. His case was moved to July the 3rd. A 32-year-old man from Grand Prairie has been charged with 3 counts of sexual assault, one involving a potential victim in Lloydminster. Joseph Kidd assaulted or abducted 4 different females ranging in ages from 12 to 18 years old. Kidd traveled to his first 2 victims and brought them to Grand Prairie, one 14-year-old from BC and an 18-year-old from Lloydminster. After both of those assaults, he was held and later released twice by judicial decision with conditions and broke those conditions twice because in mid-June, 2 victims came forward, one 12 years old, the other 15, after he attempted to get them into his yellow convertible. RCMP say there are potentially more victims.
Based on the cases presented before you today and the cases before the court, there is a possibility that there are additional victims out there, and we remain ready to assist and support those victims as necessary.
Depending on a judicial ruling, Joseph Kidd could be released again on July 11th. The RCMP urging that anyone that has been in contact with Kidd in person or online to come forward. The Canadian Revenue Agency has fined an illegal immigration consultant $112,000 for evading taxes after a decision in a Regina courtroom. According to the CRA, Key Wang of BC received the fine after pleading guilty on 2 counts of tax evasion. The agency said an investigation revealed that Wang failed to report close to $500,000 in income between 2013 and 2016. And of that, $472,000 came while Wang was operating an unregistered immigration consultant. The investigation started with a referral from the Canadian Border Services Agency, who did charge Wang with immigration fraud back in 2016. A missing man in Estevan has been found deceased. Estevan police say that 28-year-old Jesse Kluche was found in the Pleasantdale Valley north of King Street a week after he was last seen. Kluche was the subject of a missing persons investigation. His next of kin have been notified, and police say the investigation is ongoing, pending forensic processing of the scene and the completion of an autopsy. Regina City Council approved continuing and possibly expanding its fare-free transit project for some high school students. At Wednesday's meeting, Council voted 6-5 in favor of continuing its Johnson Collegiate fare-free pilot project for the 26-27 school year. Various residents voiced their support for the project, stating they witnessed the positive outcomes on youth during its run last fall. But some councillors shared their concerns, saying the projected $49,000 program will hurt the city financially.
The capital and operating are almost $20 million, and I know after last year's budget that's not really obtainable right now.
Support, tangible support, like contributions from either the school boards or students or whatever it is, to be expanded to in a bigger way. So those conversations are ongoing and would continue.
Council's approval also includes exploring opportunities to expand the program along with student transit training by engaging with school divisions. Councillors also approved an estimated $8.2 million to replace the video scoreboards and turf at Mosaic Stadium in preparation for hosting the 2027 Grey Cup. The funds pulled the city's Revitalization Initiative Stadium Reserve will be used for this procurement, installation, and commissioning for replacing all of the LED video display boards as well as the artificial turf on the field. Council discussed what the new turf field line should look like to accommodate the Canadian Football League's recent changes to field dimensions for Saskatchewan Roughrider games. However, there are concerns about how the changes will impact other groups who use the stadium. They were brought forward. Now, specifically, it would be the Regina Rams, the Regina Riot, Regina Thunder, some soccer groups, and others.
We have the right stakeholder engagement planned. We're going to have a consultant working on the turf that we need. We know what we need for turf. Really, the question is around how we do the lines to ensure that we can accommodate both the new CFL rules and the community groups that also use the facility.
Council also unanimously approved renewing the city's lease for 25.5 more years with Regina Red Sox Baseball Club for Curry Field to host games. So, Sabine, baseball weather. Are we going to see good baseball weather tomorrow and on the weekend?
Tomorrow?
Ooh.
Tomorrow is great sport weather, Lee.
Sports.
Football or baseball, whatever is happening in the city tomorrow, or for most of Saskatchewan, we're going to see some pretty good conditions. It's not until we get into the overnight tomorrow and then into the weekend where we're going to see conditions shift significantly, where we do have some higher risks of storms and heavy rainfall expected for the weekend. Now, today was pretty much an average day in Saskatchewan. We saw a warm up of about 23 degrees for Regina. Average is about 24, and we did see mostly sunny conditions. The winds picked up, gusting into the 30s late this afternoon for the Regina area. But even in terms of precipitation, this is what we're looking at over the last few hours. Scattered precipitation, but we're not seeing any watches or warnings issued for the province just yet. That could switch and change as we head into tomorrow and the weekend approaches. But even looking at our temperatures right now, they're pretty good. And that'll continue tomorrow. I'll have details in your forecast. Lee?
Okay, thanks, Sabine. Rising repair costs, catastrophic weather, and of course wildfires leading to an increase in insurance claims. As Keenan Sorkon tells us, it's draining SGI reserves, causing concern at the Crown Corporation.
It wasn't long ago that labor was the most expensive part of an auto insurance claim, but now it's the parts, and that's just one of many pressures depleting the provincial auto fund.
The cost per claim that is coming in, especially on the auto fund side, which has been significantly increasing.
Despite a nearly 4% rate hike at the start of the month and deductibles rising from $700 to $950 on January 1st, SGI simply isn't breaking even on its auto claims. That means the Crown is having to dip into its reserves.
We can't rectify the sustainability with rate alone, so internally we're looking at a lot of alternatives to reduce expenses and to increase revenue.
The auto fund is designed to break even, but new car repairs are costing much more than what's being paid into the fund, which has seen nearly $300 million deducted in 2 years, from $925 million at the start of last fiscal year down to $634 million in March.
Working with body shops to use used parts versus new, and we have a new fraud software that's going to help us to, when we look at claims, and be able to flag when there's problems.
This year isn't shaping up to be much better. The hailstorm that hit Regina 2 weeks ago might be the most expensive weather event in the province's history, with 13,000 claims causing $100 million in losses, with more claims expected in the coming weeks.
It's likely to hit our reinsurance layer on this one. It was significant.
On the property side, wildfire and storm claims nearly quadrupled compared to last year, but SGI says it's not going anywhere.
There are other competitors that are removing themselves from the wildfire areas. They see it as great risk. We won't do that. We're here to support the people of Saskatchewan.
SGI says cash flow concerns are years away, but it needs to do everything it can to reverse these costly trends before it's too late. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
It's construction season, and the Saskatchewan Ministry of Highways is reminding drivers to check the highway hotline before heading out on that summer road trip. The highway hotline, while best known for its winter road conditions updates, also has info on construction zones, closures, and traffic delays. Construction activity is ramping up, and drivers can expect to see plenty of construction zones, lane restrictions, flaggers, and pilot vehicles in work zones. Drivers are reminded to slow down, stay alert, and follow the signage to keep fellow vehicles and workers safe. Seeding is all but complete in Saskatchewan, but some farms are dealing with saturated fields from recent rainfall. Most producers now have moved into haying, spraying, and monitoring for pests and disease. The majority of crops are making normal progress, but the Ministry of Ag says a notable portion of crops are lagging behind due to cooler, cloudy conditions. Oilseeds are the most impacted, with 45% of the crop behind normal development stages. Producers are now looking for better weather to support growth. Hospitals of Regina Foundation is investing $4 million to support pediatric research at the University of Saskatchewan's College of Medicine. The new clinical research program is set to study the earliest origins of health and disease for children in the province. Last year, there were 16,000 pediatric visits to hospitals and healthcare facilities in Regina. The foundation saying the investment aims to support the need for pediatric health care.
We aim to deepen our understanding of how chronic diseases begin early in life, help prevent chronic conditions, and strengthen pediatric care in Saskatchewan and indeed across the country.
The government of Saskatchewan says it plans to support institutions' need for long-term research, adding that the investment by Hospitals of Regina Foundation helps all organizations work together. As part of the project, a clinical researcher will be recruited to build and lead a high-impact research program at the U of S. Still ahead, report on why ER wait times are so long across Canada. Plus, anti-gun activists are calling for stricter laws after the shootings in Montreal. Well, it's not just in Saskatchewan. Canadians are waiting hours, sometimes days, in emergency rooms across the country. But a new report suggests the problem doesn't actually begin in the ER. Kathy Lee has more on what's really driving the delays.
Long waits in Canada's emergency rooms have become an all too familiar experience, and Brenda Trottier knows that firsthand.
It was frustrating.
She says her daughter went to a Calgary emergency room with abdominal pain last month and did not leave until more than 10 hours later.
Why wasn't her pain addressed?
Why did we wait so long?
A new report by the Canadian Institute for Health Information found 1 in 10 patients spent more than 14 hours in the ER in 2024-2025. For those needing to be admitted, 1 in 10 spent more than 2 days in the ER waiting for a bed. This doctor says it's a long-standing issue that keeps getting worse.
We've been calling a state of emergency and state of crisis.
The report suggests the root of the problem often lies far beyond the emergency department. Shortages of hospital beds, long-term care spaces, and community supports are creating a bottleneck through the healthcare system.
Our government has been neglecting on some of the capacity and workforce building.
The consequences of overcrowded emergency departments have at times been tragic. In Alberta, 44-year-old Prashant Srikumar died in an Edmonton ER. And in Ontario, 16-year-old Finlay Vander Werken died in an Oakville ER. Both waited 8 hours to see a doctor. The Alberta government says population growth, rising demand, and increasing patient complexity are contributing to longer waits.
I think the feds have to get involved now and actually start to say, hey, we need to look at this in a national solution.
Trottier is thankful her daughter's condition wasn't more serious and understands medical staff are under strain, but says enough is enough.
It is broken.
And the government needs to make changes. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, the federal government's gun control laws not really popular here in Saskatchewan, considered too strict. On the other hand, a prominent gun control group feels it's too lenient, calling for SKS model weapons to be banned in the wake of Monday's shooting in Montreal. Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the latest.
Days after the deadly shooting, the scene is looking more like business as usual. Pedestrians have returned and many shops have reopened, but the memorial is still there, a lasting reminder of the lives lost and the questions still lingering, like why this happened and how. I'm upset by this. I'm really upset. The suspect has been identified as 25-year-old Seth Scott Hatfield of Lethbridge, Alberta. Police have not identified the type of firearm used in Monday's shooting, but images circulating online show a long gun lying on the ground that experts believe is likely a Russian SKS.
It's kind of fuzzy, but the SKS has a very distinctive feature. It has an integral bayonet that folds underneath the barrel, and you can see on the rifle in the picture what appears to be that integral bayonet.
Experts say the semi-automatic Soviet-era rifle and its many modified versions is a popular rifle among legal gun owners in Canada and among Indigenous hunters. But after Monday's shooting, the gun advocacy group Police de Souvier is reiterating calls for an immediate ban on all new sales of the SKS. A rifle, Police de Souvier says, has been linked to a number of mass shootings.
That's not taking anything away from anybody. That's just not allowing the problem to get even worse.
Ottawa says it is in the process of a broad review of Canada's firearm classification regime, and that will include consultations with Indigenous communities on the SKS.
We will have to introduce legislation for that to make those determinations, to make and to provide the full resources and the direct determinations so that they are made clearly, consistently in advance and particularly as there are new firearms coming on.
The gun advocacy group Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights accuses Police de Souvier of using this tragedy to push a long-held position against the SKS while ignoring the suspect's violent manifesto. They argue any gun could have been used in this shooting. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Montreal.
Canada's international trade minister says he'll be pushing for more relief from Beijing's tariffs on Canadian canola, peas, and seafood when he meets with his Chinese counterpart this fall. The meeting is expected to take place in November when China is hosting this year's Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Earlier this year, Prime Minister Mark Carney secured lower Chinese tariffs on some Canadian agriculture and food products after Canada agreed to cut duties on Chinese electric vehicles and allow up to 49,000 EVs into the Canadian market each year. At least 188 people have been killed, more than 1,500 injured in Venezuela after two powerful earthquakes hit the country less than a minute apart. Officials say the magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 quakes have caused widespread damage across Caracas, including cracking one of the runways at the international airport. And there's concern about aftershocks. Dozens of people are trapped, and crews are now racing to rescue people trapped underneath the rubble. In the Middle East, the UN Maritime Agency has paused its program to assist ships through the Strait of Hormuz. The move comes after a cargo vessel reported being struck by a projectile today. Starting Tuesday, vessels began using an alternative route that runs along the coast of Oman. The path would remove Tehran's main source of leverage in ongoing peace talks with the U.S., but Iran has threatened ships using the new route. Traffic through the crucial energy corridor has increased, but is still well below pre-war levels. Coming up, Saskatchewan technicians from the trucking industry are headed to Sweden for a skills competition.
They're riding an incredible 44-game win streak. You heard me right, 44. Friday on Your Morning, we're in conversation with the Saskatoon Valkyries to find out how they've managed to achieve that level of success.
All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look at what your forecast is looking like heading into this evening and what's to come for the start of your weekend. And I know many want to know, what is it going to be like for the game tomorrow? Apart from a prairie blizzard, I'm hearing a lot about whiteout conditions inside Mosaic Stadium, but we'll talk about that in a second. Today, we did see a warm up of 23 degrees in the Queen City. Winds sitting at just over 25 kilometers an hour. For most of the day, we did see winds gusting anywhere between 25 to 35 kilometers an hour. Heading into tomorrow, the winds are looking like we'll be seeing similar wind speeds. Temperatures also in the same range of what we saw today. It's not until we get into Friday night that we start to see more of that precipitation arrive. So over the last couple of hours on our radar satellite, we saw a little bit of scattered precipitation, a little bit heavier rainfall just along the southern border there in the southwest. But heading into tomorrow, we'll start to see clearer conditions. Now, we're still going to see little pops of rain throughout the province heading into not late afternoon, into the morning tomorrow along the parkland. As of right now, Environment and Climate Change Canada does have a low risk thunderstorm outlook for eastern Saskatchewan and western Saskatchewan. So in areas around the parkland there, could possibly see thunderstorm activity coming through the area. Localized rainfall anywhere between 30 to 50 millimeters of rain. Hail about the 1 centimeter in diameter size, and possibly some strong winds. For western Saskatchewan, similar story, but could see a little bit larger hail size coming through. As of right now, when we're looking on the map, not really having to see much until we get into Friday evening, and that is where we're seeing stronger thunderstorm outlook for the southwest. Maple Creek, Swift Current seeing heavier rainfall along with strong winds expected and possibility of hail. That's just the beginning. Heading into Saturday, we're going to continue to see a lot of that storm activity traveling into the Saskatoon area, into Regina, and continuing to see these storm cells popping up. And by Saturday afternoon, you can see around the Wynyard area, very heavy rainfall, a lot of storm activity. It's this system here, Saturday night, a strong line of systems from down in the Estevan area all the way up to Wynyard and further up north. There is a possibility we could also see the development of some funnel clouds. Now, as of right now, no weather statements issued, no watches, no warnings, but I do want to show you a quick look at what we could be expecting for rainfall totals between now and to Friday morning. Not a whole lot to talk about. Trace amounts for the Swift Current area, but as we continue into Saturday morning, that's where we start to see heavier rainfall. Swift Current up to 20 millimeters, close to 15 for Maple Creek, just over 10 for Regina, over 5 for Saskatoon. And as we continue into Sunday afternoon, close to 15 for Regina, close to 30 for Weyburn, over 40 millimeters of rain for Estevan, over 20 for Swift Current. And I do just want to mention that there is a possibility that just outside, like we're seeing 14 for the Regina area, but we could actually see a little bit more of that heading into the surrounding area. So it doesn't necessarily mean just in Regina we're going to see about 15 millimeters of rain. We could actually possibly see up to about 25 millimeters of rain after Saturday and into Sunday. Temperatures tomorrow, though, we're still looking at very nice temperatures. Mid-20s, high 20s, 26 for North Battleford and Saskatoon, 24 for Yorkton, 26 for the southwest and the southeast, looking at mid-20s as their daytime highs as well. Tomorrow, 25 degrees, and for game day, kickoff is at 7 p.m. 23 is the expected high. By the second half, we're expecting a high of about 21 degrees. That's football weather. But again, heading into the stadium, it is looking like a prairie blizzard. The rain arrives Saturday, 20 degrees, 22 on Sunday with that risk of thunderstorms. Winds picking up into the 50s by Monday. Most of this rain expected during the day, by the evening clearing out, but we're still looking at temperatures within seasonal range. And by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Lee, we are expecting more sunshine, drier conditions, but those temperatures remaining in that seasonal range of the mid to high 20s.
That's a lot of rain, though, coming on the weekend.
A lot. Definitely keep an eye on the Highway Hotline and Environment Canada on what road conditions are like, for sure.
Well, I guess the Riders are happy to have a weekday game.
There you go.
Friday. All right, thanks, Sabine.
You bet.
Well, the World Cup is not the only prestigious global competition that's happening this summer. A team of technicians from Regina are headed to Sweden to show off their service skills in the trucking industry. Erica Matarash has more.
For service technicians, diagnosing a problem isn't just about tools, it's about precision under pressure. That pressure is exactly what teams face in the Volvo International Service Training Awards, a global competition that tests the best of the best.
I would say it's pretty stressful. I mean, the semifinals, everything was timed. Like I say, it was pretty new information to us. And making one mistake can make a big difference.
The Regina team, known as Adaptive Crews from Sterling Truck and Trailer Sales, earned their spot in the World Championship after a strong performance in the semifinals. Competing against top technicians, they face tight time limits and high-stakes scenarios.
You need to manage your time properly. Try not to panic. Look at the answers, take some time and make sure we're going in the right direction. Because if you go in the wrong direction and you panic, like, the time goes quickly.
The competition demands more than technical knowledge, it tests mental discipline as well. From troubleshooting advanced systems to working efficiently under pressure, every second counts.
Very proud of these guys. They work very hard for us. This is a national competition, so to be there representing North America with only 3 other teams is very big.
As they get ready to compete, the goal is simple: stay sharp, stay focused, and work together. Adaptive Crews will represent Canada against top teams from around the globe on September 7th. Erica Matarash, CTV News, Regina.
A pair first for Rider receivers this week versus Toronto. The details after the break.
Here's what's happening in our community. The Prairie Peony Society show is happening on June 27th at 7:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. at the Regina Senior Citizen Center. For more information, you can head to the Prairie Peony Society at gmail.com. Running Wild Rescue Bark Day Bash will also be happening on June 27th and June 28th at 8025 Sherwood Drive. For details, call 306-540-8507. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
The Riders held their walkthrough today before Friday's game versus the Toronto Argonauts. Joining A.J. Ouellette on the sidelines will be Canadian receiver Del Duncan Busby on the one-game injured list with a shoulder issue. Replacing him in a starting lineup will be Deshaun Mims. The former U of R Ram played special teams in the first 2 games this season. Has 1 career catch. You just saw it last season versus Calgary. Meanwhile, former U of S Husky Daniel Wiebe will make his CFL regular season debut as a backup receiver. Despite Mims' lack of starting experience, quarterback Trevor Harris is confident in the second-year Rider.
He's explosive. He can really run. He's paying attention to every word in meetings. When you tell him to do something, he does it. And I think that he's the kind of guy that could come out and make some big catches tomorrow and maybe get in the end zone. You don't know. Especially with the way we kind of do progressions and the way that we kind of formulate the game plans. He's a guy that could really take off tomorrow. You just never know. And so I'm excited for Deshaun.
Defensively, Jonathan Edward will start at boundary halfback, replacing Juju Hughes, who's on a 6-game injured list. That means the Riders will start 3 Canadians in the secondary. Game time, 7 o'clock at Mosaic Stadium. At the World Cup, Germany facing Ecuador this afternoon. Germany had already clinched first place, but for Ecuador, this was everything. They needed a win or they would be headed home.
Here's Angulo. He can cause a problem. Angulo strike!
Down 1-0 early, Ecuador answered back to tie things up at 1 at the half. Then in the second half, Gonzalo Plata with the quick reflexes to beat the German keeper. Ecuador wins 2-1. They move to 4 points and third place, which will be good enough to advance. Germany and Ivory Coast also advance, both at 6 points. Germany does get this first based on their victory against the African side earlier in the tournament. Now, as for Canada, they already know their opponent for the round of 32. They will play South Africa on Sunday in Los Angeles. Canada lost their only meeting back in 2007, 2-0, but because they are higher in the FIFA rankings, Canada does enter as the favorite. Kickoff is 1 o'clock on CTV and TSN. Still ahead, catching up with the RCMP's musical ride.
All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look at the rural forecast heading into your Friday. Some areas, like we're looking at Hudson Bay there, could see that risk of thunderstorms in the area. 24, though, is the expected daytime high. 24 and a mix of sun and cloud for Wynyard. 25 and a chance of rain for Melfort. 25 mainly sunny for Spiritwood, seeing a little bit of cloud cover for Lloydminster, but 25 degrees there, and 26 for Meadow Lake, Kindersley, and Outlook and Watrous. Closer to the southern border, same story. We'll see a little bit more of that cloud cover in the southwest. Maple Creek, 26 degrees, 23 for East End Cypress. A mix of sun and cloud in the southeast. Broadview, 23, 22 for Carlisle. Slight chance of some showers for Kenora at 24. And 25 degrees for Lumsden, Assiniboia, Pilot Butte, Coronach. Leader seeing a risk of thunderstorms, of course, in the west there as well. 27 is the expected high with Rosetown mostly cloudy and 26 degrees. Taking a closer look at Theodore, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud. 23 is the expected high. Winds picking up to about 30 kilometers an hour. Not really expecting a chance of showers, but again, being close in that parkland area, could see a low risk of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon.
Nature Saskatchewan says to keep an eye out for monarchs. With summer here, the butterflies are back in the province for the season to start off the next generation of its life cycle. If you want to see more of them, milkweed is the best plant to attract them, along with flowers like asters or goldenrods. Monarchs were officially listed as endangered 3 years ago, and sightings can be reported to Nature Saskatchewan to help inform their population and range estimates, which can help in population recovery. A Canadian tradition has galloped into Ottawa with the RCMP musical ride beginning today. Tyler Fleming has more on the start of a cross-country tour for the magnificent horses and their riders.
Saddles tightened, hooves planted, reins in hand. Walk. For this well-groomed regiment of 16 equines and their police partners, every formation starts here. The RCMP musical ride returns to Ottawa this week, but before the famous charge, practice starts in February.
There's 16 horse and rider. About half of them are new, so have never been on the musical ride before. And in fact, they've only ridden horses for a few months.
Riders must learn to walk, trot, and canter, crisscrossing knee to knee.
Our four-legged friend here, they're the ones who help us achieve this.
These hand-picked Hanoverian horses are athletes too. Some even have royal bloodlines.
This would be Victoria. Victoria is the last gift from Queen Elizabeth.
Among this year's troupe, several first-generation Canadians. Constable Jack Tan.
I'm very proud to be a part of this unit.
Constable Kilian Chiquan, whose family members recently visited from France.
They were so proud to see me in the Red Surge.
And lead rider Corporal Amrit Gill.
It just means so much to represent Canada.
In a performance representing a modern Canada in one of the country's oldest traditions.
Meeting everybody in small towns, big towns, and representing the South Asian community as well.
And there's a mission behind this cavalry's cross-country journey. Every stop helps to raise money for local charities. The tour begins at the RCMP stables in Ottawa on Thursday with 4 free shows featuring local performers as well, all while supporting the Ottawa Food Bank. The cavalry then heads across Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia, the goal, building connections between community, the police, and horses.
People may have never spoken to a police officer before, but when you have a horse there to pet, to break the ice, it's amazing what kind of conversations you can have.
I even get comments saying, hey, I could see myself up there because of you. So that means a lot.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Let's take a look at the canola street price, down 90 cents to $695.75 per ton. Futures price is up $6.10 to $740 per ton. Amber Durham wheat, $285.20 per ton. Red Spring wheat's up 8 cents to $277.29 per ton. Feed barley, $257.21 per ton, and flax is $630.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge and Ice Futures Canada. The markets both on the way up. The TSX up 114 points, the Dow Jones by 71 points. As for the Canadian dollar, it is up a little less than 0.2% to 70.43 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold did not move. West Texas Intermediate crude went up $2.32, while Western Canadian Select crude went down $3.55. It's close to $55 a barrel right now. As for your gas, hasn't budged. Still sitting at $1.65.9 per liter.
BlackBerry's raising its annual revenue forecast. That sent shares up about 20% today. The company's focus is QNX, its critical operating system for vehicles. In its most recent quarter, BlackBerry reported revenue of $153 million U.S., a 26% improvement year over year. BlackBerry now predicts full-year revenue for 2027 to be around $600 million. Jameson Wellness says it's considering an unsolicited offer to buy the company. Jameson sells vitamins, minerals, and supplements. The Toronto-based firm says there's no certainty talks will lead to a deal. Jameson stock did gain on the news. The price of crude oil started creeping back up today after concerns were raised about getting through the Strait of Hormuz safely. A ship was hit today by an unknown projectile. Other tankers turned around earlier in the day, saying they heard the Iranian Navy telling them not to cross. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
How many Big Bangs?
One. Yes.
Good for you, because it is CMA Fest at 7 o'clock. Hope you like country. Because of this, too, we now know who hit the stage at the 2026 Canadian Country Music Association's Awards in Saskatoon.
And I believe with the deepest part of my soul, I wouldn't be a man without a woman.
All right, Dean Brody, who is set to release his 10th studio album called The 10th Album, will hit the stage along with Saskatchewan's own Hunter Brothers, I love them, Kelsey Kulik, and Jess Moskaluk. The James Barker Band, Reclaws, and Owen Riegling will also perform. The CCMAs are happening at Sastel Center in Saskatoon on September 19th, and they will air exclusively on CTV and Crave.
They will? Shock.
They sure will.
That's not why we're running it. We're running it in Saskatoon, but go on.
Several years into the search for a new James Bond, a report says producers are getting closer to a final decision.
Name? Bond. James Bond.
Daniel Craig stepped down from the role after 2021's No Time to Die. Well, he didn't really step down. Spoiler alert, he dies in it. Last year, Canada's own Denis Villeneuve was revealed as the director of the next film in a spy franchise. Sources tell Deadline the Bond team are now letting actors know that they made it to the next round of auditions in August. They're looking for somebody fitting the prototype of Jacob Elordi, Harris Dickinson, Callum Turner. But there are no specific names in the running. Amazon MGM hasn't commented.
What about Tom Holland? I know he's short, but I feel like he'd be a good one. Or is he just too Spider-Man-y to be a...
I mean, he's changed. He doesn't want to just be known as Spider-Man, but that might be... just might be a tough sell, considering literally his Spider-Man movie's coming out in like a month from now, so...
Yeah. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I don't know who it could be.
You!
Okay, fine.